Hello, and today we'll continue with Reconnected. I don't even know what I was expecting, but it certainly wasn't this. I had best get going. There's nothing to do. I had best get going. There's nothing to do in here, and certainly no purpose of having the lights on in the fucking athletic room. I turn around, reaching back for the control panel on the door. My paw searches idly about, trying to come in contact with the wall that's right behind me, but I feel nothing, just empty space. Where the hell is the door? I reach about a bit more purposefully, even taking a few steps forward. Nothing. What the fuck was that? Who's there? Fuck. It's so dark in here. What I wouldn't do to have some goddamn lights in here. I hear something shifting around in the dark. No, not something. Some things. How curious. The lost traveler. Here to join us forever. Another spider stuck in the web. Footsteps, movement, motion, all creeping toward me, closing in from all sides. Look at how he struggles. There's no escape, slave. You belong to him. You belong to us. Master is here to talk to you. There you are. They're staring at me, just like before. Just like they always have been. Nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. Just me and the demon in the dark. Bile rises up in my throat, causing me to gag and choke on the putrid taste of it. I see you. I warned you there's nowhere safe for you, nowhere I can't find you. 7 days, little one. 7 days. Then you'll be mine forever. I'll devour you too. I'll devour you too. I'll devour you too. My mind starts tearing itself to shreds as a voice screams out of the void, clawing into my body with sickening malice. The soft innards within my skull melt down to a soup of thoughts and memories. Something sticky and wet catches on my foot, and I slip, slamming my head down onto the floor. Leave me alone. Something hard suddenly grips my ankles, wrapping around my legs with a vice grip. Slowly, it begins to drag me deeper into the room, and panic surges through my heart. Oh, fuck this. My claws scratch uselessly at the hard floor as I'm pulled farther into the maw of the beast. You're mine. You belong to me. You always have. The perfect slave. Get off of me. I try to crawl back feebly across the slick floor, my paws dripping with a viscous liquid, but my body gives up. It knows this is the end. The foul scent of iron and blood invades my nostrils, making me feel even more lightheaded than I already do. As my back slides across the floor, my arm crashes into something wet and covered in fur. Help me. Did that thing eat us? I felt a paw softly caressing my arm, trying to find purchase. The touch is begging, desperate, not willing to let me go. More fingers start to clutch at my limbs with piercing holds. First on my thighs, then my shoulders, then my head. Hundreds of paws grabbing all over me, forcing me to stay. Don't let him keep us here, Plover. Where am I? I don't know, but he's here to save us. You have to save us. You have to get us out. It's so hot in here, and everything stings and drips. It's like the walls are made of acid. It burns so badly. The walls are alive. The whole world squeezes. It hurts, Plover. Everything hurts. Save us, Plover. I'm so sorry. Can you hear them, Plover? Can you hear my beautiful symphony? Your voice will join their chorus soon enough. A cool light suddenly surges forth, piercing through the fog and driving away the darkness in my mind. Soothing. Know that I am with you. Mind, body, and soul. I am with you. What the hell are you doing here? What? Where? Why am I? I see Atticus standing over my limp form. I see the hall just as it was before I entered the athletic room. Plover, what's wrong? Come on, talk to me, man. He crouches down, his second paws coming to rest on my broad shoulder. Atticus? He nods eagerly, trying to help me up to my feet. It's me, Plover, it's me. What happened? Did something happen? Please tell me nothing happened to you. I looked down at my sticky paws, trying to figure out what or who I slept on. There's nothing there. Nothing at all. I'm sorry, Atticus. I was looking for the auditorium, and I got a bit turned around and lost. Then I think I tripped or something. My claws gently pat at the back of my head, searching for a lump or a bruise from where I hurt myself. I don't find one. Atticus looks around just as nervous as ever before he reaches down and picks something up. Here, Plover, thank you. Drop this. He turns back to face me, holding my data pad securely in his clutches. Thanks, bud. I appreciate it. I take the device from him, giving it a quick glance. Was that all in my head? Seriously? If I fell, then why doesn't my head have a bump? At the same time, my data pad wasn't in my pocket like I was holding it and it dropped or something. Fucking star sickness. I'm so over this shit. Mind lending me a paw? I reach out to him, hoping he'll help lift me to my feet. My heart is racing and my whole body is sinking. I doubt I could get up on my own without some help. He quickly bends over me, taking my paw into both of his as he heaves me up with all his strength. There's not much benefit to it since he's pretty scrawny, but still help all the same. With a bit of effort, I'm back up onto my unstable feet. Thanks, Atticus, most appreciated. He brushes his paws down the length of my arm, knocking off any lingering traces of dirt clinging to my fur. There's nothing there. I look down at my sticky paws, trying to figure out what or who I slept on. There's nothing there. Nothing at all. I'm sorry, Atticus. I was looking for the auditorium, and I got a bit turned around and lost. Then I think I tripped or something. My claws gently pat at the back of my head, searching for a lump or a bruise from where I hurt myself. I don't find one. Atticus looks around, just as nervous as ever, before he reaches down and picks something up. Here, Plover, thank you. Drop this. He turns back to face me, holding my data pad securely in his clutches. Thanks, bud. I appreciate that. I take the device from him, giving it a quick glance. Was that all in my head? Seriously? If I fell, then why doesn't my head have a bump? At the same time, my data pad wasn't in my pocket like I was holding it and it dropped or something. Fucking star sickness. I'm so over this shit. Mind lending me a paw? I reached out to him, hoping he'll lift me to my feet. My heart is racing and my whole body is shaking. No doubt I could get up on my own without some help. He quickly bends over me, taking my paw into both of his as he heaves me up with all of his strength. There's not much benefit to it since he's pretty scrawny, but still a help all the same. He's a bit, well, with a bit of effort, I'm back up onto my unstable feet. Thanks, Atticus. Much appreciated. He brushes his paws down the length of my arm, knocking off any lingering traces of dirt clinging to my fur. Don't mention it. What are you doing in this part of the university, anyways? What am I doing here, indeed? Well, it's like I said. I'm a bit of a dumbass when it comes to directions, and I got lost looking for the auditorium. Atticus looks confused, his head tilting off to one side. But why would you be looking for the auditorium? There's no culture sharing today. Well, believe it or not, I was looking for you. He looks even more confused at my question, like the concept that someone was seeking him out is completely foreign to him. Looking for me? What are you doing that for? Did I do something wrong? How is he always so unsure of himself? No, nothing like that. I actually needed your help with something. Assuming you're willing to help, that is. His lips pull back into a grin and his tail starts wagging back and forth. Oh, of course I'm willing to help you. He raises up one claw, pointing it to the ceiling like he is making some grand declaration. A Xenolarian will always help those in need. Well, most of us will, anyways. My ears perk up at his deliberate choice of phrasing. Most. Most you? What's that supposed to mean? His happy demeanor fades away, like sugar dissolving into water. It's just that, well, gosh, his nervousness still can be a struggle sometimes. I wait patiently, allowing him to formulate and wrangle his thoughts. I'm talking about Arcadia. If she knew I was talking to you right now, she'd be pretty upset with me. Why am I not fucking surprised? Let me guess, she thinks I'm some bloodthirsty psychopath that'll eat you for breakfast the second I've got you alone. Yeah, something like that. But I don't think it's you she's worried about. She's mostly wanting me to stay away from Kai. Arcadia thinks, well, she believes the realization of what he's implying settles into my expression. She thinks Kai is a killer, doesn't she? And what about you? Do you believe that? He simply shrugs and sinks his chin lower against the chest. Are you asking me if I think Kai is a killer? Kind of, yeah. He's just so big, and I know he doesn't really care much for us Xenolarians. I don't know what would have snapped with him, since he's always been so nice to me. But it's all just too damning. I mean, it has to be him, right? That's why I was so worried about you when I saw you here. You're his roommate, so that puts you in the most danger. Atticus suddenly starts flailing his arms towards me, as if he's trying to shoo away a cloud of annoying insects. But I don't think you were involved. When I saw the peacekeepers taking you away, all I wanted to do was go and help you, but Arcadia wouldn't let me. The sight of Atticus reaching out to me and trying to intervene is still pretty fresh. I can't believe he actually believes Kai did it. Then again, if I was in his position, believing that Kai is innocent would be a pretty hard sell for me as well. Yeah, I remember that. I appreciate the sentiment, I really do. Perhaps it's for the best that she did that. Wouldn't want you getting caught up with some unsavory peacekeeper business, even if all you wanted to do was get me out of some trouble. Of course, it's Arcadia that's trying to keep him out of harm's way. If there was any doubt in her mind, of course it's Arcadia that's trying to keep him out of harm's way. If there was any doubt in her mind that I'd do something to hurt Atticus, she basically forbid him from ever talking to me again. And yet, here we are, talking like normal. So much for her overprotective nature. Seems like Atticus is more independent than I gave him credit for initially. I always sort of assumed he was glued to Arcadia at the hip, but he's actually surprised me a bit by interacting with me like this. He's got his own motivations, his own deck of cards to play. A game that's completely up to him. Well, I guess this sort of confirms he's wrong then, doesn't it? Kai got released, same and I. Same and I. Well, I guess this sort of confirms he's wrong then, doesn't it? Kai got released, same as I. They wouldn't have let us go if it was actually me or Kai that did the crime. The fact we're having this conversation proves that Arcadia doesn't know what she's talking about. If I was really out here to get you, now would be the perfect time. We're alone. No one knows we're here. His reaction is pretty instant. He's like he's just now realizing that if he was wrong about his assumptions regarding my innocence, he'd be a goner. Hey, I don't mean it like that, man. You don't have to be scared, and I hope I didn't make you feel that way. I'm a dumbass, I know that. I'm just trying to say if there was any lingering doubt about whether or not I'm the killer, I hope this moves that over. I didn't mean to plant that seed of suspicion and make you scared. He exhales deeply and probably forcing himself to stay calm in spite of our current predicament. Thanks, Plover. It's probably not something I thought I would ever admit, but yeah, part of me has its doubts. Even if I didn't want to believe him, I won't lie and say that part of me sort of thought it really was you. I don't know you all too well, but I thought you were a pretty nice guy when we've talked before. Sorry for not believing in you right away. My instincts tell me that you're innocent and that I can trust you, but well, my instincts aren't really something I should trust, or so I've been told. He looks down at his paws, his ears lying flat against his skull as his tail begins to sway side to side like the hands of a clock slowly ticking by the hours. Is he embarrassed at something? Perhaps embarrassed about his condition, or whatever Arcadia called it. I guess if that's the case, then he and I are more alike than I would have assumed in that regard. We both have something going on inside our heads that we prefer not to show the world. Yeah, he might be more nervous than basically anyone I have ever met before, and that might play into his default nature, but to be embarrassed about it, it's not like he asked to be how he is. It's not like he wanted any of these things to happen to him, to be an outsider, to be not normal. Yeah, I can definitely relate to all of that more than I'd like to admit. I just thought I was just talking to some red-eyed monster, so I'm probably a lot more fucked up than he could ever be. There's nothing to be afraid, there's nothing to be sorry for, friend. If I was in your paws, I probably wouldn't have been as compassionate as you are now, so I thank you for that. I wouldn't hold it against you if you said you never wanted to see me again just based on the circumstances alone. It would be a pretty fair assumption, you ask me. But to be honest, the idea that people tell you that you shouldn't trust your instincts doesn't really sit well with me. Have a lot of people told you that before? That you shouldn't trust your gut, like you're not capable of making decisions for yourself or something? I hope that I'm not overstepping my boundaries with this line of questioning, especially considering he looks pretty down on himself. I just want to make sure I understand where he's coming from and why he might behave how he does. I'm not trying to make assumptions, but I mean, you said it. People have told you that you can't trust your own instincts. Is that why you're so nervous all the time? You're constantly second guessing yourself. His eyes pull up, if only for a moment. And then he nods. Yeah, so many people have told me that way. Well, so many people have told me that what I feel inside is wrong. That I'm a broken alarm that just won't stop ringing. I didn't really believe that. Well, I didn't really believe them at first, but when Arcadia started saying it too, that I needed to be more careful, less impulsive. Yeah, I guess I sort of started believing them. Well, believing that then, and ever since, I tried my best to ignore myself. Wow, poor kid. I can't imagine growing up having everyone tell me that what I feel inside is wrong and that I need to be extra careful to stay out of trouble. No wonder he can't even look people in the eye. This isn't who he really is. This is years of conditioning making him this way. Maybe even in days bygone he could have labeled himself as confident. So you have to stop and check every single thing that goes through your head. He doesn't react, which is an answer in of itself. I know it's not much of a consolation, but I think thus far, at least as long at least as long as I have known you, your instincts have been pretty spot on, even in places where Acadians weren't. Seems even a Zenillian can have it with, well, even seems even a Zenillian can have it rough sometimes, as lucky and privileged as there are. I guess there's this the scornful paw of suffering is pretty indiscriminate in that regard. You really think so, Plover? I give him a kind smile, or what I hope comes across as one, and pat him on the shoulder. Yes, I really do. His eyes his eyes light up like a firework, just went off inside his horizons as he grins from ear to ear. Thanks. You have no idea how much that means to me to hear. A white fur adorning his body ruffles around as he starts wagging his tail frantically. It's kind of cute, if I'm being honest. But we're getting off topic, aren't we? You said that you were looking for me, that you needed my help. What can I help you with, Plover? You name it, and I'll try my best to do it. His normal hesitancy has completely vanished, replaced by his overwhelming sense of eagerness. It's almost like a switch. It's almost like a switch just got flipped inside of him, like he's accepting that he's going to trust me and try to help, no matter what his sister had told him. I won't lie. I'm shit out of luck if he can't bail me out. So I'm kind of relying on him for this. The last thing I want to do is tell him about the fucking horrific things I saw in the Peacekeeper building. I know for a fact that would set him on edge. I need to have a little bit of tact going about this. Well, if I'm being honest, this is about the murders. Well, if I'm being honest, this is about the murders. I think we're being set up somehow. Without going too much into detail, I sort of need some insider information. Atticus's happy mood falters ever so slightly, but his tail keeps wagging all the same. Is that so? I want to help you, Plover, but that isn't much to go off of. What kind of information do you need? Well, we were curious about a certain type of technology that you guys might have here on Zenithir. Something that might have the capability of making someone not show up on camera. Some sort of a digital cloaking device. Know anything like that? He scratches at his muzzle, and I could tell just from his body language that he doesn't really understand the context of what I'm asking. I don't think I understand, Plover. Why would someone like that be important? You said this had to do with a murder in the hallway, right? The technology that we use in the cameras is pretty ingenious, Do you think someone messed with the camera somehow? I might have to be a bit more specific because I'm fairly certain no one tampered with the cameras, but I really don't want to scare the guy. I remember how distraught he was about Nika and Jakar. Telling him all these gruesome details is more than likely just going to make him upset. I think we should tell him the truth. I should probably just tell him. He's seen and heard enough horrific things in his life, especially considering what happened to his two friends. This might not be as harsh for him as I'm expecting. He's already surprised me in more ways than one. Well, when I was in the Peacekeeper precinct downtown, they showed Kai and I the footage of the murder when it happened. It was horrible, something I wish I had never seen, and I'm honestly a bit shaken up by it even still. In the footage that was shown to me, I saw that poor guy getting killed in the hall. The thing responsible for it didn't show up on the cameras, it was invisible. Well, I guess that's not entirely true, but fuck it, I'm already this deep. Might as well go deeper. I take a deep breath and delve into the gritty details of it with a bit of an apprehensive tone lacing over my voice. When the Zenilarian died, his blood splattered onto the one responsible. We could see its outline on the camera. It was there in the room, and the Zenilarian could see it clear as day, but the footage couldn't. Just then, Atticus cuts me off in the middle of my explanation. Zamar. I blink a few times in confusion, not really sure of what he said. Come again? His name is Zamar, not Zenilarian, not poor guy. His name was Zamar. I wasn't his friend, but if you're going to talk about him, the least you can do is use his name, okay? I didn't know Atticus. Sorry if I was being disrespectful towards him. Did he just stand up for something? If you didn't know, you didn't know. But now you do. When you talk about him like that, it's not like he's not real. When you talk to him like that, it's like he's not real. Like he doesn't matter, and that makes me upset. He's not just a headline on some news outlet, Plover. Fair enough. Point taken. That makes sense. I get it. I won't make that mistake again. Well, when Zamar died, his blood splattered onto the killer, and we could see the blood shaping his silhouette. Shit, using that guy's real name does make it feel more real, more personal. He's not just a victim anymore. He's a person that had a life and a story all his own. I guess that's what Atticus was wanting, and I don't really blame him for it. Zamar deserves to be remembered, even if it's in name alone. Do you know of anything like that? Anything that could make someone invisible, but only on the camera? Like I said before, Zamar could see it. He saw who was responsible and talked to it before Atticus seemed a bit squeamish, but all in all, he seemed to be taking the information in stride. I have expected him to get sick trying to envision something so gruesome, but he's handling himself very well. Atticus grimaces a bit as he whacks his brain, searching for the information I'm after. Well, I'm not really sure, to be honest. What you're describing wouldn't really be something a Zenilarian would have use for. Sorry, I'm afraid I don't really know of a technology like that. My heart sinks a bit at his admission. This was my one shot in the dark to maybe find some answers, and it's just a dead end. There's no one else to ask, especially since I now know Acadia's feelings towards Kai and myself. Well, back to the drawing board, of course. There's no one else to ask, especially since I know. There's no one else to ask, especially since I now know Acadia's feelings towards Kai and myself. Well, Back to the drawing board, I suppose. I was really hoping he could help me here, but I appreciate him listening all the same, if it didn't result in what I would have wanted. I hope the disappointment isn't noticeable as I go to speak, because I really am pretty bummed out. I see. Thanks for listening then, I guess. I'll try and figure something else out in the meantime, and thank you for believing me about all this. I won't forget it. My long tail swipes across his torso as I turn to leave, but just as I'm about to step away from him, I hear his shaky voice pierce through the air like an arrow. But I think I know someone who might. His words stopped me. His words stopped me dead in my tracks. Seems there's a candle in the dark after all. What do you mean, Atticus? I look over my shoulder and see a bit of hesitation in his eyes, like he doesn't want to be left alone quite yet. I don't know anything matching your description. Well, I don't know anything matching your description, but I think I know someone who would. You do? Who is it? Who can I go talk to about this? He spins his foot paw across the metal floor in a circular motion, almost like he's trying to dance around the point being discussed. Well, you're not going to like what I have to say. Huh? What is he talking about now? Does he mean Arcadia? I know she probably hates my fucking guts right now, but if talking to her is the only way for me to get this vital information, then I'm going to suck it up and go talk to her. Is it Arcadia? Trust me, I know she's your sister and you love her, but if she knows something that can help me out of this shit hole of a situation, then you have to tell me. Atticus shakes his head frantically, his voice becoming even more timid, which I didn't even know was possible. No, it's not Arcadia. Way worse. Well, oh come on, Atticus, I can take it. Who is it? He sighs deeply, hanging his head low, and says the last words I expected to hear. Fortuitous. My fur instinctively bristles up at the mention of him. Of course it's him. Of course it had to be him. He was kind enough earlier, but that doesn't really excuse the fact that he's been a complete ass ever since I landed here. Not only that, but he's kind of Kai's mortal enemy, and the last thing I want to do is go talk to him because I know damn well that's going to make Kai mad. Especially since Kai thinks he's the killer. You gotta be kidding me. Fortress, seriously? Why would he know anything about this? He isn't even from Zenithir, for God's sake. I know, Plover, trust me, I know. But what you're describing is like military tech. It's not something that the public would know about. You need to understand that Vultures, the Vulperians, they're scary. We don't know too much about them or their culture, but the one thing I do know is that they love fighting. It's a big part of who they are. So if anyone would have some clues about an advanced piece of technology like this, it's Vulturous. I know that you don't really like him, and Kai too, and I don't blame you for that. But you asked for my help, and I feel like I owe it to you to give it however I can. Why the hell would he feel like he owes it to me? I haven't done a damn thing for him, but hey, who am I to complain? I don't even know if he would know something honestly. All I'm trying to say is that if you want to get some answers, he's your best bet, okay? And take a few deep breaths, trying to get my rather visceral reaction under control before I respond. The measured rise and fall of my chest reminds me of the real goal here, of what's really at stake. It doesn't really matter how much I don't like him or how much Kai doesn't like him. If he can help us, then I'll do whatever it takes to get to the bottom of this. It's not just my life that's on the line, but Kai's as well. I appreciate that, Atticus. You're right, I don't really want to talk to him, but it doesn't seem like I have much of a choice, do I? The Zenithirian shrugs, but there's a layer of concern to his movements. Is there, well, Well, there's always a choice. There's always a choice, Plover. But if you want answers, then I guess you don't. Sorry for putting you in this situation, but I really do hope you can figure this stuff out. I think it's pretty noble of you to try and solve this, especially since it does seem a bit like you're the center of attention of all. Ain't that the fucking truth? Yes, it really does, doesn't it? And don't feel sorry. You didn't do anything wrong. I'm sorry for my reaction. It's not your fault that he's a guy I have to talk to about this, so thank you again for helping me. I know you might catch some flack for this later on for your. Well, I know you might catch some flack for this later on from your sister. Just know that it means a lot to me, and for what it's worth, it means a lot to Kai too. I hope I can see you around more often, Atticus. You're a great guy, and I enjoy talking to you. I guess that's only partially true. In all honesty, he's a pain to talk to sometimes, given his demeanor and all that. Who am I kidding? He's a sweet guy, and I can value that over the struggle it can be to get through to him. Atticus gives me a cheery wink, forcing a smile across his snowy muzzle. Of course. I hope it goes well for you. Just be careful, okay? Acadia tells me vultures can have a plenty. Acadia tells me vultures can have a pretty short fuse, if you know what I mean. I don't want you getting hurt, literally. I mean, have you seen those spikes? Those things could do some serious damage, not to mention that he's even taller than Kai. I can't help but chuckle a bit as he rambles off about Volturus. In all honesty, Atticus sounds a bit awestruck by him, and I can't really blame him for that. As much as he is a dick, Volturus is definitely a unique specimen with some pretty gnarly features. Yeah, you can say that again. Don't worry, I can handle myself. I promise, okay? You don't have to worry. Truth is, I don't really care about what Volturus might do. It's irrelevant. How the hell am I going to keep myself safe around a guy like that? If he wanted to hurt me, he would. There's not much I can do about that, and nothing that could stop him, except maybe Kai. Yes, but that's not really possible. Having Kai around when I go to talk to him is the fastest way to make sure Volturus doesn't tell me a damn thing. They fucking hate each other. I have to talk to him alone, regardless of how dangerous it might be for him. Before I go though, I do have one final question for the White Fox. Say, you wouldn't happen to know where I might find him, would you? I saw him a bit earlier, but he walked off towards the city, I think. Have any idea where his dorm might be, or some place he likes to hang out? Atticus pulls out his own data pad, swiping away at a transparent display. The bright lights of the words dance on his fur like little fairies waltzing across his clothes. I actually was in charge of the dorm assignments for the Reconnected program, so yeah, I could tell you where he lives. I'm not really supposed to, but given the circumstances, I think it's warranted. Damn, I guess Atticus can be a bit of a rule breaker when he wants to be. Interesting. He keeps searching for a few moments before looking up at me with his deep forest eyes. He lives in this building, same as you and Kai. Hallway Section C, Room 22. C22. He's just a few hallways before Kai and myself, and in the same room number 2? What a coincidence. Who knew he was sleeping just a few walls away from us? Creepy. Thanks a lot, man. I'll head there now and see if Volturus is around. If he isn't, then I'll just stop by and wait until he shows up. He smiles warmly at me, probably feeling good about the risk he just took. Before you go, I just wanted to say sorry about believing what I do about Kai. I know I'm probably wrong, but at the same time, I don't really know how to describe it. I'm not sure if my instincts or some voice inside my head, but I just can't shake the feeling. It's like every part of me just sort of knows that Kai is the killer. Atticus smirks, waving me goodbye with a big thumbs up on one of his little paws. Anyways, good luck, Clover. Let me know how it goes during tomorrow's culture series. He turns tail and walks out of the hallway, returning back to the way he came. I don't even know what to say about that. He's wrong, plain and simple. I wave goodbye as well, even if he can't see me, then walk away too, leaving the athletic room behind me. Thanks, Atticus. The walls change their style and tone as I make my way back towards the covered room, indicating I'm going the right way for once. It's not right right now. Oh wow, so both Arcadia and Atticus believe Kai is the killer. So looks like Kai is pretty much all alone right now. I mean, Eco or Plover, if you want, whichever you want to call him. It looks like Plover is the only person, or the only real friend Kai got right now. And I don't know if there's something controlling Atticus as well now. I don't know, that text, that green text at the end there kind of got me thinking if somebody's in his head too, or if that's just what the creator did to, put emphasis on what Atticus is really thinking. But I'm not sure. Alright, so they believe Kai is the killer, so I guess whatever friendship they had, or if that was ever real, or whatever they had up until this point, is pretty much over, really. If they don't want to be anywhere near Kai. So we know that Kai is not the killer, but they don't know that. So we got to learn more about Atticus and the fact that he kind of has a condition, whatever it is, I don't know. But anyway, I guess he kind of used to say some things that was on his mind a long time ago, and some people thought he was weird, and Acadia decided to, tell him not to say something just because it's his gut feeling, So ever since then, I guess Atticus has been kind of nervous about saying, certain things. Like, he always nervous about saying something, feeling that if he says what's really on his mind, then people will react negatively to what he says. So he's been kind of cautious about what to say, what he wants to say. Anything he says can be kind of it can be taken negatively. So he's kind of shy and cautious. Well, I don't know about shy, but I guess he's kind of like cautious. Now, there was some points where in their conversation where he basically just decided to speak what's on his mind, like what's his name, Plover or Eco. He kept referring to the victim, the murder victim, as Zenillian or poor guy, which got Atticus kind of mad because Plover or Eco, keep messing up with Kai, but Plover keeps referring to the victim as Zenillian or this poor guy, like the guy didn't really matter. And Atticus told Plover that his name is Zamar, and that he's a person. He has a story of his own and friends and family. He's not just some centenarian. So I like that part um, where Atticus spoke up and called Plover out on that. All right, so Atticus told Plover that as far as the technology and all that stuff about somebody becoming invisible, he thinks Vultures may know something. He thinks Vultures may know something about that. It's kind of like military tech, and I guess he kind of thinks Vultures is kind of like a military guy. I don't know if he's really a military guy, but he's royalty, or at least connected to royalty in Volperia. So, after all, his uncle is like the king there, so I guess him being a noble, he would have access to some advanced technology, or at least have a lot of knowledge about advanced technology that is not shared with the public. So Plover's going to go to him next and see if he may know something about it. But based on what we've seen of Vulture so far, he's been kind of a short fuse, like what Atticus said. He's getting really angry real, very quick, and he's been known to explode. So Plover's gonna have to be delicate with Vulturus, but hopefully he'll get something out of Vulturus. It seemed like in the last time the two of them met, Vulturus might seem kind of he might seem kind of open to helping Kai. Well, it's Kai too, but he seemed kind of open to helping Plover with wherever he's doing with Kai, with the mystery. So if Vulturus is still in that kind of mood where he's kind of willing to help Plover, then that could be very hopeful. So I don't know. Hopefully, Vulturus is still. Hopefully his willingness to help Plover is still there. Hopefully it still hasn't wavered. If he was serious at all in that conversation that he first had. So, I mean, it was serious, but I think he was. I mean, though he didn't really. I mean, he kind of acted like, kind of like an ass. So, but anyway, I think he might have been serious about what he said the first time he and Plover met. Well, the last time anyway, about him wanting to help Plover out when it comes to helping Kai free himself with the accusations of him being a murderer. So maybe Vulturus is not that bad, but we'll just have to see more in the story. So that's all for now. Thank you all very much for watching. Goodbye.